Hi, hello. Good morning. Happy Valentine's Day. Um, I've come to that stage. You know that stage of quarantine everyone had, and like, it must have been like somewhere between April to July when everyone was like, oh my god, I have to do something with my hair. And I mean, I guess I already had that because, look, I'm blonde. It's sort of blonde. But I never intended to just stay with blonde streaks. I had actually meant to bleach and then dye it like right away. But my parents were like, hey, like, your hair looks so nice. Keep it for a little bit. So I did. And the entire time that I did it, I kind of just looked like, you know, every other Indian girl that wanted to do something with her hair, but the school didn't let us. So, you had to bleach it and just get away with that because that's all you could do. So I'm kind of happy to be moving on from that. My mom suggested that for Valentine's Day I go pink. So that's what I'm going to do right now, I think. I have the bottles and everything right here, and I'm going to do a strand test on a little bit of my hair, just, to make sure that it's not carcinogenic and doesn't burn my face off. So I'm going to be doing that, and I don't know, just have a bit of a chit chat in the middle, I guess. Just talk about some things, that I either don't have a separate video idea for, or something that just pops up randomly that I want to discuss. I've also kind of been trying to wrangle the instructions using Google Translate because this is, some Korean brand, and obviously I can't read Korean. But I am a little bit confused because, okay, in these I know that there's the developer and the pigment. I don't really know which one is which, but it's one of them. And they get mixed together anyway, so it's fine. But then there's this. Hold on. I don't really know what it is, and even with Google Translate, like the app that scans the text for you, I don't really know what it's for. I think it's some sort of like after dye mask just so the color keeps in place, but I don't really know how to do that with streaked hair. I don't know how much I should be using, so we'll figure it out as we go. It won't be that bad. I'm not gonna say it can't be that bad because I don't want to jinx it. I'm just saying it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So I'm just gonna mix in a little bit of the dye and developer first. And I don't know, let's chat. Let's talk about some things. Let's talk. Sit down. Let's have a talk. It's so difficult. Hold on, first world problems incoming. It's so difficult being like an alternative fashion person when you're like Indian or, any other person of color. Just because your parents are always so like weirded out by it. Like just by the concept of doing anything to your hair that isn't like straightening or curling it, or wearing like black clothes, or I don't know, I guess experimenting with makeup. I guess they just don't understand it, which I mean makes sense because they didn't really do that in their time, but still. Every time I talk about wanting to bleach or dye my hair, I think my mom especially is like concerned that I'm just gonna fry the ever loving shit out of it and it's just gonna be irreparable after that. And look, that's not going to happen. I know how to maintain my hair. I've done it for like 18 years. But, she's worried about it. And she's not a fan of black clothing. And life is so difficult as an alternative POC kid. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, dude, look at the color of this dye. See that? It's yellow. I mean, I know it's going to develop later into the pink, obviously, but still, it's like way yellower than I was expecting. There's going to be so many cuts in this video. This is going to take such a long time for me to edit. Alright, so I have the pigments in this bowl. Excuse the state of the bowl, by the way. I've just used this for hair dyeing for a really long time, so it's kind of in a disgusting state. It's not like unhygienic or anything. It's just all hair dye. My glove is also the same, by the way. It's just completely pink. Okay. So let's mix up the two. I wonder what will happen if this just doesn't turn out the right way. My mom thinks it's going to go peach more than anything because, I don't know, based on just pigment color theory, like, yellowish and pinkish reddish make peach. So, I mean, I guess I'll see how it turns out. I was going to film this in my bathroom originally, but I can't really figure out how to put my entire laptop there without it either falling off or getting wet or just having a really unflattering angle somehow. and my phone camera sucks and I hate it, and I don't know, it makes me look kind of completely different than I think I look in the mirror, and I hate that. So I'm just gonna stick with my computer, and I'm going to, you know, apply the dye in my bedroom and hopefully don't cause irreparable damage to my bed sheets. Alright, so I have my isolated strand of bleached hair over here, and I'm just going to start applying the color. In the original instructions, it says that you should just mix the two bottles together and then just pour the entire thing out into your hair. But since, I have slightly shorter hair and I'm not planning to dye all of it, it's just in streaks, I'm just going to do what I did when I had red hair in grade 10 and just kind of slather it on. And if it turns out patchy, that's fine. It doesn't have to look good. It just has to look like I got bored of my hair and started messing with it for fun, which is exactly what I'm doing. I don't know what it is or when it happened, but I feel like, messing with your own appearance has become way less common than it used to be. I mean, okay, take my opinion with a grain of salt, because how old was I in like 2007, 2009 when all of this was popular? I was like 5, 7, 9. I was born in 2002, so keep that in mind. I don't know if you're not the same age as me. So, I don't know. It's like all of the cool fashion stuff, all of the DIY stuff happened when I was still a kid, and I couldn't do any of that. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like, you can literally just do whatever the hell you want. And then I grew up, and now everyone's on TikTok, and everyone's makeup is perfect. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh my god, I didn't get to do any of the cool stuff. But look, don't listen to me. I'm not trying to be a boomer or anything. I just also kind of wish that, I was there for that time, because the fashion was pretty cool. I mean, it was kind of ugly, but that was the charm about it. It's like, hey, this doesn't look good, but I'm gonna wear it anyway because I'm cool. So, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I wish we could go back to that. Okay, so I can't tell if either the color is forming really quickly or if, the leftover red is kind of bleeding into the bleached bit. Probably the second one. But it seems like, I'm not sure how well you can see it, but it's kind of taking color already. It's a little bit red. So, I don't know. It says that we have to wait for it to develop over the course of like 40 minutes. It says 20 to 40 minutes, but my hair is thick, my hair is black. I'm not going to have the same result as someone who has thinner or paler hair, so I'm going to be cautious and leave it on for a little bit longer. So, I think I'll probably see you after I wash this off and I wait for the color to set in. But if I have some like cool thought, oh my god. Okay, if I have something I want to share before that, I'll probably just switch the camera back on and talk about it as this sets in my hair. But if not, I'll see you in an hour. Okay, so we're about 10 minutes into it. This is honestly taking color very quickly. You can't really see it that well because of the camera quality, but it is taking on a pink color. But, it isn't going to be that bright. If you can see over here, it's more of like a dim purplish, like a dusty pink. So, that's fine. I'll see how it turns out. And if it turns out that I don't like it or it's too dull or something, I'll steal my mom's food dye and pour it into the bowl. I kind of did that when I had red hair back in the day, and it did work. So, I'll see. I'll update you. We'll get back to this. Okay, so after a little bit of improvisation and the addition of certain food substances, I seem to have gotten a little more coherency in my hair color, if you can see it. So this is the original blonde for comparison. And whoa, this lighting. And you can see over here, it's honestly not as bright or as deep hue of a pink as I was hoping for. It's more of a strawberry blonde, but honestly, I think it still looks pretty good. And obviously, this is just a strand test, so in my next round, when I do like all of the blonde bits, I'm probably going to add a little bit more food coloring just to get a deeper color, and I might let it sit in my hair for a little bit longer, so I left this for about an hour. And the packaging says about 40 minutes for like black hair like mine, but honestly, I think the longer I leave it in, the better, because there's a higher chance that it'll absorb more colors. So I'm probably going to do that. So I have to help my mom with some Valentine's deliveries right now. She has some cakes that she needs to deliver and stuff. But after all of that is over and I have like some time alone to myself, I'm going to go over all of the blonde with the pink and, cut now, and I'll see you then. Hi. Okay, so this video is filmed the next day. It's not the 14th anymore, it's the 15th. But hey, look at my hair. I gave it some time to set after I washed it yesterday, and it wasn't like stringy and wet anymore. And honestly, I think it turned out pretty good. It's not it's not the shade that I thought it was going to turn out, but I did add a little extra food coloring, so I knew it would be different. But honestly, I really like this. It's slightly darker in real life, so it's a little bit more muted, but I still think this is really cool. And even though it's less pink and more of like a faded red, slightly copperish, I really like it. And my parents also like it, which is always great, because my mom is always concerned that whenever I mess around with my hair, it's not going to look that good. So the fact that she likes it is pretty good thumbs up, to be honest. I'm not that sure how long it's going to last, however, since a lot of it was food coloring and that doesn't last very long on hair, but we'll see. And if it washes out at any point, then I'll probably just go over it again. I mean, I have hair chalk, I have food dye, I still have another round of that actual dye left. I also have a color in blue, which I'll probably use after the pink runs out. Or maybe I'll mix them together. I don't know yet, I haven't really decided, but whatever happens, we'll see. And as long as I keep my hair healthy and not fraying at the ends and nice and soft, I think it should be fine. Look, in the end, hair is just hair. It's going to grow back. So, if you just want to mess around with it, as long as you don't permanently damage it, it's fine. Like, you want to drain out a Sharpie and use that to color your hair? That's fine. Just don't do it to your roots in case you have an allergic reaction or something. You want to dye your hair crazy colors? That's fine. You want to cut them into some unfortunate bangs because you're coping with quarantine? That's also fine. Honestly, just don't worry about it. In a couple of years, if you look back and you cringe a little and you're going to be like, oh, my hair was so bad at that time, it brought you joy at the time, so it's okay. Like, genuinely just don't worry about it. It's not just parents. I feel like even a lot of kids are like, oh, I want to do this, but it's not going to look that good. Or, I'm going to look back and it's going to look really bad. And honestly, just don't worry about it. I mean, look, I'm not like some hair dye guru or anything, so I can't preach. But honestly, if it just makes you happy, then just go for it. Most of us are inside anyway. We're not really seeing anyone that much. And if you want to just dye your hair, not even just dye, you want to cut into a crazy manner or whatever, just go for it. Because you can always just regrow it out. If the dye fails, you can always cut it off. Like, there's always another way out. Just go for it. Do what makes you happy. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you made it this far, thank you for staying this long, honestly. I know 12, it must be like 14 minutes by now. I know a video that long from a beginner YouTuber must be really hard to sit through, so thank you. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you next time I upload.